Hello.
Hi.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Knowing Who. Now, this is a bit bizarre, isn't it? We've got a podcast.
We do.
This is Knowing Who.
Yes.
We're a Doctor Who podcast. Surprisingly, yet another one on the market.
So
we
many.
thought, oh yeah, there's a very niche little spot there. We can shove another one in. That's a great innuendo to start us off. I'm Miles. I have a YouTube channel called Tailored Vision, which you may well be listening to this on already.
Yes, we are putting that
we'll be
on
putting
his
the video
channel.
version with a lovely waveform and graphics
Which we
and
still
the
need
title
to,
sequence.
Still need to make.
Don't reveal the sequence, Ben. And this is...
And I'm Ben.
This is Ben.
Hi, I am a friend of Miles.
Mm-hmm. That's your claim to fame.
I don't have much of an online presence.
No, but because we started a job together
Yes,
at
we
the same
did.
time.
Same day.
And Ben, I think you immediately recognised
I
me.
did, yeah. I went, oh my
Yeah.
God, that's the guy with the YouTube
That's the guy with the
channel.
YouTube, yeah. And I was like, yeah.
He was like, that's fucking weird.
That is me. Yeah, well, yeah, it was a bit weird. I've had someone in a bar at Student Union recognise me for YouTube as well. You know,
Okay.
very strange.
Yeah.
And who are we? We've sort of briefly explained, but I'm a Doctor Who fan of too long.
Many years.
About 15 years now. Probably 2007 that I properly got into it.
Yeah.
So,
Similar, I think.
Similar for you.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
don't worry, we've watched at least all of New Who.
Yeah.
If you're thinking, oh God, they've only watched since Series 3. That's not true.
Series 3 is a great series, though. So
It
if you
is.
have only watched Series 3, then, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. So similar time for me watching Doctor Who. As long as I can remember, essentially. I had all the DVDs. I couldn't watch it on broadcast, but I had the DVDs.
Because you lived in a different country for
I did.
a
I lived
time.
abroad. I lived
Exactly.
about 3,000 miles away.
In the Planet of the Dead.
In the Planet of the Dead. That's
Yeah.
where I lived.
Did you see the bus outside every now and then?
No. It was
Shame.
actually fun. Quick story about that. It was meant to tour around all of like the English-speaking schools.
Oh.
Of course, I went to an English-speaking school,
Uh-huh.
and then they dropped a container on it.
So that for that reason and that reason alone.
Probably to avoid seeing all the weird foreign kids. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there
Me
we go.
included.
Yeah.
I'm one of the weird foreign kids.
Well, there you go. So, yeah, we've both been fans for a good while. Big new series fans. I'm also a big classic series fan as well.
Yes. Part of the initiative for this podcast is to get me to watch more classic Who.
It's kind of different perspectives, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm someone who's wasted a lot of their time watching a lot of classic Doctor Who. So, who knows? Later down the line, I went a bit
Later down the
line. We might be watching a few of those and getting Ben's reaction
That's the plan.
and sort of having that fresh perspective. Exciting. Basic questions.
Yeah.
Favourite Doctor? Go.
David Tennant.
David Tennant. Which one though?
That's a new question that I've never been asked.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have. Oh, actually.
I know.
Ooh.
Isn't it weird when you start to think about it, you're like, actually, he's very good as both.
Yeah, I don't know. Meta crisis.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Does he get cloned at any other point? No, I don't think so.
Probably.
No,
in
I'm
the
going to go
comics.
classic 10, I think.
Classic 10.
He's the one I grew up with. As much as I love 11 as well, and 12, 9's all right, although he doesn't, in my opinion, match up to the others in New Who.
Don't let him hear you that. Hear you say that.
Well, he's better than 13. That was bad.
That was really
accent.
bad.
That was bad.
From both of us there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably 10. I'm going to go 10.
I wholeheartedly agree. 10's the one. Like you say, if it's the Doctor that got you into the show, I think
Exactly.
you're what was it Matt Smith says, and you're sealed onto my hearts forever. So David Tennant is sealed onto my heart, but I do love 14 as well. I think he's obviously fantastic as 10, but he was just fantastic coming back as well. So yeah,
I just wish we got more of it, and
I
obviously
do.
we weren't going to because it's the nature of the whole 3 specials.
no,
was
but I
his
think
anniversary.
that's what makes it so special.
It would have been great to have like at least 2 more episodes.
I know.
With 14,
But
to see how different he was.
leave them wanting more. That's
Exactly.
always the way, isn't it?
Exactly. He'll be back in 10 years.
Favourite story? Go.
Oh,
You've had a few minutes. I
know.
warned you.
You warned me before we recorded. Well, Planet of the Dead's up there.
You're joking.
I don't know if it's my favourite, but it's up there.
Okay, we're going to end the podcast here. Thank you very much.
No.
It's been a lovely episode.
No, it's like we were saying before. It was filmed where I lived.
Sure.
Which was
okay, so
huge
there's
for
that.
me as a kid.
Yeah.
But it's not my favourite story, but it's up there.
But it's special.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, fine. I'll
Silence
allow
in the
that.
Library. That's one of my top ones.
Very good
I
shout.
really like that, and I love the suit. I love like the blue suit with the burgundy shirt. That's one of my favorite
the Time
Tennant
Crash
costumes.
set back in the day.
God, I really want.
I wanted the Time Crash set.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of Dolly talk on this.
Yeah, we're both big toy nerds.
Big Dolly fans. So Silence in the Library.
I'll say that for now.
Come for that.
You?
Do you know what? You're going to be a bit shocked,
Okay.
but I'm absolutely obsessed with Wild Blue Yonder.
I thought you might say that.
I mean, I just the week that it came out. I mean, we watched it together in beautiful. Actually, it wasn't HD.
It wasn't
HDR, but it was a big, beautiful screen. It was bloody fantastic, and I think I watched it another 4 or 5 times that whole week with various people.
Yeah.
And the reaction to it was so fantastic from the people I watched it with, and I've watched it again recently because I was like, you know what, I really want to watch Wild Blue Yonder. I watched it again, and I was like, this is just 2 fantastic actors in their absolute prime, doing amazing work, and it's just it really doesn't put a foot wrong in my opinion. Corridor aside, okay, it is a bit janky, but
it's Doctor Who.
It's Doctor Who, and it, 60th anniversary, we're going to do the longest corridor that you've ever seen in existence.
Exactly.
Running down corridors, it's
perfect. A corridor, and it's a base under siege.
What more could you want?
That's Doctor Who.
What more do you want?
Exactly.
There we go.
I remember when we watched that. For context, listeners, we watched it together. We were going to do the podcast then.
We were going to do it starting the anniversary.
But the whole idea was we were going to do an anniversary podcast, and it fell through. But we watched them together anyway, and we came out of that, and I went, God, that was probably one of the best stories I've ever seen.
I think you said to me, you were like, that would be a great story to show someone who'd never seen Doctor Who before.
I remember saying that, and then you were sort of I don't know if you were sold on it immediately.
No, because you have that thing where you're like, I loved that, but is that just hyperbole? Am I just thinking that because it was so recent and because it's only just happened? And it took another viewing and then another just to be like, this is bloody great Doctor Who.
It was great.
And if you ever needed convincing that Russell coming back was a good idea, then there you go. That was it. And I really hope that in later years to come, that one will be seen as like, I think because of the time it was released in the 60th anniversary and the hype that was around it, because we were like, oh, they've not said anything about it, or Paul McGann's going to turn up.
All the doctors are going to be in this one.
It kind of meant that the reaction to it was a bit damper than I think it would have been if it was just a normal episode of the season. So I hope that in years to come, it will get that midnight kind of effect of being a bit more like, actually, this was just a really well written piece of drama. It's fantastic.
Yeah,
so,
brilliant.
Right, so how is this going to work? Just quickly, we're going to be doing this fortnightly.
Yes, we
hopefully.
Are. Yes, the plan.
That's the plan.
At least for now. I mean, maybe after the first season is over, maybe we might take a little break. I don't know.
Who knows? We'll see how exhausted we
exactly.
are.
But while season 1 is on, season 1,
we're going to be doing
series
this.
14. We will be doing this every other week.
Every other week. Mondays, we're going to be starting your week with a bang with Knowing Who. Fortnightly for Shooty's first season. We're going to be much like the first 2 episodes are dropping at the same time.
Yes.
We're going to be reviewing each episode double banked, so you'll get Space Babies and Devil's Cord next. You'll get Boom and
How far can
Yards.
you go? How many titles do you remember?
You'll be getting Dot and Bubble and Rogue, and then we'll be finishing off with Legend of Ruby Sunday and Empire of Death, I think.
Very good.
Yeah.
I don't think I could get past Boom.
Do you not think?
I haven't memorised all the titles.
You will do, Ben. In time. I mean, you'll know.
Wasn't one of them
like
like 73 yards or something?
Yeah,
did you say that one?
Yeah,
okay, sorry.
Pay attention.
Sorry, God.
So we'll be starting that off with reviews of those episodes. That'll be starting next Monday. So for this first one,
it's going to be a week.
It's going to be a week ahead because it's special. It's fun.
Exactly.
Balls to the schedule. And after that fact,
then it will be
After that fact, we'll be doing more reviews, more chats. Who knows? It's going to evolve like a no thing from Wild
Blue Yonder.
Yeah.
Hopefully, the idea is we will have a massive drop of news, and then we'll review that for 1 week, or we'll go back and watch a Tennant era episode or a classic era episode, and then go back to Jodie Whittaker. Wanted to see Miles's reaction to that.
Maybe we'll see. We'll
watch all of Flux.
We'll watch all of Flux, and there's been no getting away from it. We'll be keeping you up to date, keeping things current, and who knows? Maybe we'll get guests on. There is
extra space in this studio for at least 2 more people.
Yeah,
it'll be cramped, but there is space.
There is space. We could do it. And hopefully, it will just evolve and change, and who knows what will come of it. But yes, exciting times. We've got a brand new Doctor coming. We've got a brand new companion who we've seen in action once before, and that's what we're going to be talking about. That's what this episode today.
As you can tell from the title of this episode,
you can tell by the title of this episode. I'm just going to change the title now, just to
that joke's not going to land.
Yeah, exactly. Starring Ncuti Gatwa as the 15th Doctor, Millie Gibson as Ruby Sunday, and broadcast on Christmas Day 2023. The Church on Ruby Road. How was that? Was that good? A good little intro.
You doing your little intro or the episode?
No, the little intro.
The little intro was amazing.
Fantastic.
You're slotting into this podcasting life so well.
I mean, yeah, it is strange. I will say that it is weird.
We're going to be the next Joe Rogan.
Oh yeah, well, who knows?
I don't know if I want to aspire to that.
No. Right. So, where to begin?
Cast your mind back. December last year. What? 4 months ago? 5?
4 months ago.
4 months ago.
What day is it today? We're recording this.
We're going to leak the recording date.
Dear listeners, we're recording this on the 28th of April.
Listeners.
So, dear listeners, what do you think of
stealing
that?
that from someone.
Am I?
From Mr. T. Davies.
Is that
no, dear viewer. Sorry.
Faithful viewer.
Oh, I got it completely wrong.
Well, we can't say faithful viewer because...
Faithful listener.
Faithful listener. FLs. FWs, faithful Whovians.
Sure, we'll figure it out.
These are the kinks.
This is all non-canon.
Yeah,
guys.
we'll iron all this out. I thought what we could just start with.
Yeah.
I know it's not quite the top of the episode, but thoughts on the new titles which we've had since the anniversary.
Yes.
You
have a problem with them.
No.
Have you grown up?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I liked them at the time. I think. I've got a video of us. I've got a video of us watching them again.
Yeah.
In beautiful HDR on this lovely screen, and I end it going, "Oh no, I do like them. I do like them because I love the theme. I love
the theme's
the theme.
Brilliant. I think I've written that down in my notes. I've said I just love it.
Gorgeous. It's jam packed, full of adventure, and that's my Doctor Who. But I think it's because it harks back to Murray's first kind of. What's the word I'm looking for? Like, it's got gumption. It's yeah,
and it's got bits of the series 4 intro, which was the second Murray Gold one, and bits of the Matt Smith one, the first Matt Smith one with the drum beat.
Yeah,
I think it's the drum beat at the very beginning anyway. It is great. I love it. A lot of the music in this special I love.
And I even like I like the visuals. I think that the whole taking the TARDIS on a journey. I like having cuts in the title sequence. I like having that crash zoom in as it sort of goes into this vortex. There is one thing that I don't like.
Yes, this is what I was getting at.
Yeah, it's the
logo.
PNG gate, the logo.
I personally don't mind it that much. But
do you not?
Fair enough.
To be honest, I did when I watched this again. I did look at it and I was like, maybe I'm being hyperbolic.
I understand that it could look better, like in Doctor Who Unleashed. It's an actual 3D model.
That's what fascinates me, and also the reveal, the logo reveal, and everything,
and
like
all of that stuff. I understand the concern with the logo, but I personally think it's fine. And if you look back at old Doctor Who, old as in old modern series Doctor Who, it is always like a 3D object that spins and floats and rotates.
But the thing is, it never looked like for those first 2 series. It never looked like the logo they were using in promotion. It was a metally kind of one, and
2005 CGI.
Yeah, so I wondered, are they just using this logo for consistency? They want all the branding to be completely, the same across it all. But that's gone out the window now because Ncuti's promotional stuff has got this bright green one.
Yes, and I'm sort of hoping, and not because I hate the intro, because I actually really like the intro. I don't mind the logo, but I hope that the intro changes a bit and incorporates that bright green or neon teal sort of colour.
Have you seen the first Pertwee title sequence?
I would have done, yeah. I watched the YouTube compilations.
Well, there you go.
In fact, I think I was watching one last night of all the title sequences.
That kind of green. It's this kind of neon-y green colour, and I kind of like that. I like that merge. So who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows what will happen?
Yeah.
But I have a real feeling that that's going to be a new iteration of it for this new start.
And a lot of people are sort of on Twitter at least, are begging for because the rainbow swirls.
Oh yeah,
they're sort of people are saying, "Oh, please let this be the new title sequence."
Although I went to London a few months ago, and the travel
London,
I know, the travel for London adverts on the tube and stuff have the exact same rainbow vortex, and the exact one that Shooty's there with. Probably the one that I've used for the episode thumbnail.
Yes. Yeah.
And I was like, this is so strange. I've seen this weird synergy between the two. So yes. Anyway, beyond the titles.
Yes.
Where do you want to start? Do you want to start from the top?
I would assume that's where my notes start from. You can hear my book in the mic.
So just for context, faithful viewer, faithful listener. Ben has got 6 pages of notes.
A5 pages. So
I've got
3 pages of notes.
I've got 1 and a bit. So that tells you.
I think I say notes. They're not all talking points. I think some of them are just like, that was cool.
Well, no, I think that's sometimes the best way to just let the episode do what it does to you, rather than kind of going in with right, I need to analyze this. It's just let it happen and see what it does. What did you think about it opening with the narration from Shooty and kind of a very story heavy kind of point? Because compared to something like Rose, which starts us with a companion, the Doctor gets introduced very
The Doctor's
late on.
sort of introduced in this one, not godlike, but he's sort of almost omnipotent.
He is. I was just about. I think that's the word, isn't it? Yeah.
Compared to Eccleston in Rose.
Because I think Rose is our best point of reference, because not only was it a brand new era in that case, but it was also written by Russell. This is Russell's second kind of reboot, if you will. I mean, literally, we're going back to season 1. I know that we've had the anniversary specials, but this is Russell's kind of like fresh take. Here it goes. So I don't know what I thought. I kind of thought the Doctor would be held back a bit longer into the episode. I think perhaps so. That's until that moment when she's on the ladder. But
I think from what I remember hearing, I didn't listen to the commentary yesterday. I watched it yesterday, but I didn't listen to the commentary yesterday. But I think in the commentary, Russell does say that Disney wanted the Doctor in it sooner.
So perhaps, I mean, I imagine that he was still in it for the amount of the bits that he was in, but we certainly know that there was that there was very deliberately added scene.
Yeah. So possibly in the same respect, they added in that ADR bit at the beginning with the Doctor doing a bit of narration. Yeah. And they came back to the bit that they'd already shot, of course, which was at the end of the episode, which they put on the front. So maybe it wasn't meant to start with that
possible,
bit as well.
A bit like the Star Beast as well. Like that clear. I mean, Rachel Talalay said that. Little intro of David floating in space. She was like, that was not me. That I did not direct that.
I remember watching that with you, and we thought, what on earth is going on?
Very strange start. But
and she didn't shoot that.
She didn't shoot that. So it kind of felt like that is a similar kind of thing. I don't know whether Disney would have asked for that, or whether that last minute they kind of thought, oh, we better give some context here. So maybe this was going to start just a bit like Rose, just titles, and in we go.
Yeah.
They were like,
what happens after that scene, after the titles? Is it Ruby doing her bits and pieces in the band?
It's Ruby and Davina.
Like Ruby and Davina, of course. Yeah, that would be a
Davina
great start.
McCall. You mean after the titles?
Yeah, if we were to start with that scene, I think that would have been that would have been a drop in. I feel that's very Russell.
It is quite Russell, and you've got Davina McCall kind of leading it. Davina McCall back in Doctor Who after
being the voice of Big Brother, was it?
The voice of her robot self in Bad Wolf. Very Russell to get someone so current.
I did watch Doctor Who Unleashed last night after watching the episode, and I didn't know this because I don't watch ITV very often, but the name of her programme that she does on ITV is called Long Lost Family.
It is indeed.
It's very much based on that programme, and apparently they talked to the producers of the show, and they planned it out properly. Well, I don't know if they fully planned like staging and whatever, but it was based on the actual
how
programme.
They actually do the programme.
Of course, that wasn't mentioned because it's a BBC programme, and they're not going to
which makes sense. But then again, you think back to Bad Wolf, and they had Big Brother and whatever the Trini and Susanna show was.
Trini and Susanna.
So it but it doesn't. That doesn't affect the episode at all. But it's lovely that they asked the programme and they talked about that. And I think Davina's great in it. I was kind of worried at first. I was like, oh, can she actually act?
I've no problem with her acting. There's one bit. Ruby's 18, right? Yeah. So what I was going to say, there's a bit where Davina calls Ruby. This is a bit further into the episode, and she sort of begs her, how do I stop all this bad luck? What am I doing wrong? Can you fix it for me?
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking, Davina, you're begging an 18-year-old how to stop falling over. Like, it's a bit of a weird thing to ask.
But it is Doctor Who.
It is Doctor Who, and it's nothing to do with their acting. I just think that's a bit of a weird moment.
A moment followed by a really shock moment
gets
of the Christmas
murdered.
tree. And, I mean, we'll talk about this later on, but what a cop-out to go back on it.
I know.
And it feels so tacked on as well. I know
but
that
it's Christmas.
It is Christmas, I know, but I just...
So
I've
written...
happen.
What have I written in my notes? Davina begging an 18-year-old how to stop bad luck before she's brutally murdered.
I mean...
That's what I wrote in my notes.
There you go.
And
Welcome
she was
back to Doctor
brutally
Who.
murdered.
By a very tacky plastic Christmas star on top of a tree.
And in Unleashed, there's a very quick shot of how they shot that.
I saw that.
And they've literally got like a rig attached to the camera.
Yeah,
and for the camera nerds, it's shot on Arri Alexas.
I
spotted that.
I didn't notice
It
that.
says Arri on the side of the camera
Oh.
in quite big letters.
That Sherlock investigation going
Exactly.
on. Right.
But they have this rig which is attached the Christmas star to the camera, and I thought that looked really cool. To be completely honest, it's the easiest way to do it.
And when you watch it, you're like, actually, that's very clever. And when I watched it, I didn't think, I wonder how they shot that. But obviously, it makes a lot of sense. Like, very clever. Yeah. And speaking of the way it was shot, we might as well have a quick, brief chat about the direction, about Mr. Mark Tonderoy, back from directing The Ghost Monument and Rosa for Jodie's era. I actually caught a glimpse of him in Unleashed,
yes, he was
shooting his own stuff. He actually has the camera, and I think Millie says in the commentary as well, like, oh, Mark just loved to just like, oh yeah, Mark's going to shoot this one. Mark's going to, which I think is very interesting for a
feel
director
bad for
to be so.
For the DOP.
You do, yeah, I know. So it kind of feels like, Mark's very much that kind of hands-on director, which kind of I think is part of that. The reason that so much of this is handheld and so much of this is tight and quite intimate. I don't know what I think of that. I wasn't quite a fan. What did you think of the direction overall?
Are we talking? Shot composition.
Just
I quite liked it, to be completely honest. I thought I didn't make any notes on the shot composition. I didn't think we were going to be this nerdy.
Well,
but
I don't know. It was something that, I mean, maybe it's because I think about that a lot now, but it just really did stick out to me. Just some of the framing, because you'd use a close-up for dramatic reasons, right?
Yes,
it's a revelation for a character, or it's an intimate moment. There seems to be unnecessary close-ups in a lot of scenes, like when we cut to Mrs. Flood's having an argument with Abdul, the neighbour, or whatever he's called, and it's a really like severe close-up, and it's kind of like, why are we getting this close to you? And then when Ruby comes home and Carla says, oh, we're having a baby, and then suddenly it cuts to a really close-up shot of Millie, really close-up shot of her, and it felt like you would save these for more dramatic and weighty moments. So I did think that they were a bit too overused, and there was it was a bit too dynamic at times, but when it works, it really works. Like, I love how the shot of Shooty and Millie looking at the fridge of all the people, and it's had sort of a POV shot from that of them looking into the camera, and then it
tilts, doesn't it? It goes up and down the fridge.
Yeah, but then it cuts back to them, and they're sort of looking into the camera as if they're looking at
Gotcha.
And it's kind of mirrored when Ruby's been taken out of time, and Shooty's there staring at the camera, and he's got the tears in his eye, which I think is the shot in the Whoniverse Sting. There's a shot of him, tears in his eyes.
There is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that must be the shot. So, bits and pieces. And one other thing I will say as well, and I guess this is a bit jumping to the end, but it was something about the direction and just the structure. The TARDIS reveal. I loved how we went back to that whole running around the box thing, and there was a very nice crane shot of Millie running around, lovely stuff. And then you expect a big reveal of her going in, and then a big panning shot of this beautiful console room. I know we've seen it in the Star Beast, we've seen it sort of showcased before, but a lot of people are going to be starting here, and it's a very odd thing how she goes into the box. We start to pan around. we see Shooty, and then it cuts back to her, and then it cuts to Shooty.
And it cuts
it's
quite
like,
close to Shooty as well.
I don't think we see the console, maybe even like a tad of it.
You're right. I don't think we do see the console.
And I don't hear enough people talking about that, because I think people kind of focused on the whole, like, the running around the box, the reaction. I love Millie's face, and she sort of, purses her lips.
There's
She's
a
like,
bit,
what?
I believe in the commentary, I remember hearing that Russell says this is the first time we've seen her run around the console since Rose,
but
which isn't true.
No,
because it happens all the time.
Donna does it, and
Donna
Clara does it.
Clara did it, although it was Victorian Clara, I believe.
But she still did it.
True, she did do it.
So it's kind of like, how has that been missed? Because even just a little push in just to show this beautiful set. Yeah. I don't care if we've seen it four times before.
It's very possible that that's going to happen at the start of Space Babies.
I know, but you would think that would be part of the big moment at the end. And surely Disney would go, you've got this massive set, show it off,
we've spent a lot of money on this set.
We've spent lots of money on this set. This set is not going anywhere for, I imagine, a decade. So show it off. Bit weird. Sorry to jump to the end of the episode.
We did, yeah.
Very, very quickly then.
Spoilers for anyone who's watching the episode
I
as we
had. While I was thinking about it, I've been quite negative. Should we talk about something positive?
Well, actually, I wanted to ask you, because we sort of skipped the very beginning and jumped straight into Davina.
Yeah.
Who's the woman dropping off Ruby? Who do you think that woman is?
I know. Who do we think it
is? My thought since the very beginning was it's future Ruby. Yeah. That's my guess.
And you know what made me reinforce that theory? She's wearing boots.
Right, yes. Yeah.
I know that sounds a bit...
She's wearing boots.
And now that I've said that out loud,
feet,
I'm like, no. It's the...
It's the only bit we can see, to be fair.
Yeah, because the rest of it's she's all in this cloak. But the boots look quite Doc Martens-y, Ruby-ish.
Like Ruby's.
Yeah. So...
Because my thought is, if it's actually Ruby's mum, they wouldn't mask it. They'd show some blonde woman walking up to the door, putting the baby down.
It'd be too obvious, wouldn't it?
But the fact that they've put her in a weird, mysterious cloak screams to me, you're meant to be asking who this person is.
And I think it would tie it up really neatly if it was a future Ruby.
Yeah. I would assume it's not the end of series 14, season 1. I'm going to assume we're not going to find out who that is for a while.
Do you not think?
And the same with Mrs. Flood.
Well, I got that from the Unleashed.
In Unleashed, she says Russell's still writing the future of Mrs. Flood
and he says,
as we speak.
He says she's a slow burner.
Exactly.
Mrs. Flood. She's on the stove.
So we're not going to find out.
She's going to bubble over.
This people might count this as spoilers. So if you don't want to know about hashtag DWSR on Twitter,
interesting.
Stop listening for 20 seconds.
Go
Ready?
away.
Okay. So we see Mrs. Flood on set of season 2.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And this is the weird part. It's set in the past in, I think it's Miami.
Oh.
So there's a bit with the new companion,
right,
who we don't know the name of yet, I believe, played by...
Yeah, but we just know that she's... Verdera? I'm sure we'll all know. It's just like when Shooty was announced. We were all like,
exactly.
What was his name?
Yeah, but they're in the past. I think it's the 50s. I think it's Miami, based on what people have said on Twitter. Again, we're still talking about DWSR if you've jumped in. But she's there. She's on set in season 2 in the past. So I don't know.
Oh, she will be sticking around for a bit.
So yeah, she's going to be around for a while, and I don't think we'll know who she is until season 2.
No, so I think we can put her on the slowy and let her simmer for the time being.
Sure. I'm not going to ask what that voice was for.
It was Chris from World War 3.
Okay.
Put her on low heat and let her simmer.
He does say that.
Yeah.
He does say...
I mean, I can't believe you couldn't tell from my flawless impersonation there. Yeah, so Mrs. Flood, who is fantastic in this story. I love Anita Dobson. She's in Blood of the Daleks, the very first Paul McGann and Lucy Miller, Sheridan Smith, BBC 7 audio. That was a bit deep cut, that.
It's quite a deep cut.
Yeah. She's fantastic. She's great. I can't wait to see how she develops. What about I want to talk about Ruby. I want to talk about Ruby Sunday.
Go for it.
I think when this episode happened, I think we'd seen a bit of Shooty already in the giggle. So I was like, I'm obviously excited to see what else he does. Mm-hmm. But I was more excited because I was like, we're going to meet the new companion in this episode. We're going to meet Ruby, and we'd had very little clips or hints of her before this point. I think the only clip they released was her on the ladder as she's floating off.
Because I think they released a 30-second clip before the episode aired, and that
very good clip to release because everyone.
Well, there was a bit of controversy about that, and I've written that in my notes because I remembered. When the Doctor is running after Ruby, hanging on the ladder, he says, "Yeah, I'll give that a go, babes."
Do you not like that?
I don't mind that.
Yeah.
But people online, and he says a bit more to that, but I only wrote down, "Yeah, I'll give that a go, babes," is that people said they couldn't understand a word he was saying.
What are you on
and
about?
I had absolutely no problem with that, but so many people after that clip was released.
I'll tell you this: when you watch back old Tennant episodes, there's bits when you can't understand a frigging word he says.
I know.
Have you seen that? You know the Christmas Invasion? What the hell is he saying? What's that?
I don't know because I don't specifically remember the bit you're talking about.
Do you know?
But no.
The moment he grabs the cigarette's whip and he goes, "What's that?"
I remember him grabbing the whip. I don't remember what he says, probably because I didn't understand.
That's your
what he was
homework.
saying.
You can watch that when
I'll
you
watch
get back
another
tonight.
Christmas episode in the middle of April.
Yeah, I did find that weird.
It was
I have
really
to say.
strange.
I
typically will only go back and watch Christmas episodes in Christmas.
Oh yeah,
I'll go
so
back
do
and
I.
I'll watch Christmas episodes at Christmas.
I never watch Christmas episodes out of season.
So
it's weird.
It was really strange. It's like you don't watch a Christmas movie.
Yeah, I'm never going to watch It's a Wonderful Life in July.
Although I did watch Iron Man 3 last week, and that is set at Christmas.
Count, though,
they play Christmas songs in it.
If Iron Man 3 is about as Christmassy a movie as, I don't know. I'm just going to think of a Doctor Who Christmas episode.
There's snow and they play Christmas songs.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a bit where he runs up. I can't remember what the full quote, but he says, "Oh yeah, I'll give that a go, babes." And I think it's because he's saying it so quickly, and he's got a bit of a weird Scottish accent.
I can't tell whether he's putting. I think he's putting some Scottish in there, which I like.
I think it comes and goes. I think.
Yeah.
But I have no problem with it. I understood what he said, but a lot of people online said, "What on earth did he just say? I hate this. I don't know what's going on." And it's possibly because
just getting irritated.
It's possibly because they're not nice people and they don't like the way he looks or where he's from.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That's just a very small minority of the audience.
Personally, I really love that scene.
Ruby Sunday.
She's great.
I love her.
I think she's brilliant.
I love her attitude. She's a kind of do first, ask questions later kind of gal.
Yeah.
I love that. I think that's kind of encapsulated by the fact that the baby gets taken and instantly she's like, ladder up on the ceiling, on the roof, and she's like, Only once she's on the roof is she like, what am I doing? So yeah, I love her personality. I love her attitude. I kind of think that's why, because a lot of people sort of thought, look at her, she's got a relatively nice life. All right, she doesn't know who her real mum is, but at least she's got a nice family.
There's a line where they say, "or your birth father," and then they double up on that almost immediately afterwards. Yeah. So possibly, who knows? In the next season, we'll find out her dad and not her mum.
Yeah, we don't question
who knows?
that as
Maybe
well.
that was dropped in. That was Chekhov's dad. That was.
Yeah, but either way, she's got a very nice Chekhov's dad. We've got a very nice
Chekhov's birth father.
Chekhov's Ruby. We've got a very nice family life for her and home, and people were sort of being like, "Well, it's not like Rose, who's got a crap job, who's got a boyfriend who she could give or take, really."
Of course, Rose worked in the same building that the snowman fell off.
Did she really?
That was Henrik's. That was the same building.
Well, obviously not in the show, but it was Henrik's.
Henrik's blew up, so they must have restored it, and then someone else moved in.
Maybe. Yeah, because it is London. So
yes, it is London. So so that snowman fell off of Henrik's.
Yeah, Henrik's is just a disaster waiting to happen. I'm telling you. So people were sort of saying, well, why is Ruby wanting to run away? But I think it's because that very thing about her, her nature is that she's like, what? Time travel machine? Yeah, I'm going to run and go and do that. And she probably only just, as when she's in the time machine, when she's on Space Station Baby, that she'll realise, what am I actually doing?
I think it was named the other day. I think Russell
said that it was called the Baby Station or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
I thought it was going to be called Conquistador because Russell had said there's like 3 words that's included in this episode.
Oh, that were in Star Trek.
Maybe. Yeah. That might have been a different episode.
It was Space Babies because there was an episode. You asked me this at the time, and I was watching Star Trek. For the viewers, I'm a massive Star Trek fan as well. So I was watching Star Trek Picard, which Series 3 was amazing, so good. If anyone has watched that, you'll agree with me. But there is a bit where they go into a nebula and it sort of births all these space babies.
Really?
And then Russell, I think, put on Instagram, I just watched Star Trek Picard and it's got the title of an episode in it. And it was because they said space babies.
That is a bit weird though, isn't it? I mean, I know space babies is a bit generic, but it's like it's still a weird coincidence.
They're not human babies. They're like jellyfishes. Jellyfish.
Yeah.
But they are baby jellyfish, space jellyfish. And they say space babies, so... That's the backstory on that.
What coincidence?
Sorry.
Goblins.
Oh, no, coincidence.
Love Ruby. I think Millie's fantastic. I think some people said to me that they weren't as much of a fan of her soap kind of acting, but I mean, obviously she's come from that background, and I like that.
I was thinking, actually, when I was watching this, I thought, I know she's done soap operas all her life, but she's doing great. This is dramatic acting. This is drama, and she's doing it really well.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I haven't watched her in anything else. I've never watched Coronation Street.
I saw bits of her. She had a big storyline that she left on, and it was this kind of whole big thing of Corrie using this. I think it's called the volume, kind of. A bit like they use on Mandalorian, but obviously a very small.
I'm assuming not
small
as
scale.
high budget.
Yeah. So I caught bits of that, and I actually worked on Corrie.
Oh my god!
For a few days as a runner, and Millie was there. She was on my call sheet, and I would go and she'd be in the makeup chair.
No idea who she was.
I had no idea. Little did I know. Yeah, love Ruby. What about the Doctor?
I think he's pretty cool. I don't think we've seen enough of him yet.
I agree.
So for what a lot of people told me after this episode aired, because they know that I'm a massive Doctor Who fan, they would say, I think the episode was fine after the beginning bit ended, and it didn't become Doctor Who till about 3/4 of the way in or something like that.
Right, okay.
And that's when the Doctor became the Doctor. I think a bit differently. I think he was brilliant the entire way through. I think he was genuinely, I think he's great.
Oh, 100%,
in the giggle, I remember thinking, okay, he's a bit weird, but it's a new Doctor thing. He's sort of used to that.
And he was playing off the main Doctor for that episode.
Exactly.
So it was a weird kind of instance of it. Yeah.
But in this episode, I think he held his own space brilliantly. I really enjoyed Ncuti in the role.
I think I'm waiting for a Doctor defining moment.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree completely. I still think we need more of him, like I just said. Yeah. But he's going well so far.
I really hope that we will get that. And I'm pretty certain that we will get that very soon on in the series.
Yeah.
Very probably in the 2-episode season premiere.
I would hope so.
Surely there's going to be some fantastic material for him to work with there. And that's not to say that he didn't have some, like you were saying, he has some amazing moments in this episode. I wrote down a few, a bit like Who Sees a Ladder and thinks, I'll give that a go. Babes. Perfect, great Doctor-y kind of introduction to that scene, and it would have been a fantastic just introduction for the Doctor.
Because that would have been the first. Well, there were glimpses of him, but that would have been the first Doctor-y sort of moment.
The first kind of him doing.
Yeah. I really love the scene where he gets crushed by a snowman.
Did you?
I know that was added very last minute, and it was a Disney thing, but I really like that scene. It calls back to Waters of Mars slightly.
Sure.
When they ask who are you, and he says Doctor, fun. Except he says Doctor, not a doctor. So he's changed his mind clearly in the last 2,000 years.
Yeah.
So
I'm not actually qualified, and if this person asks for my medical help, then
exactly. But and he lives in that box over there. I think that's really great. I think that was really done well. There's a bit of a weird Sherlocky moment though when he says she's going to say yes.
But I actually quite liked that moment. I know if even if you do think it's a bit Sherlocky, I actually quite liked
I liked it, but it was just sort of all of a sudden he'd completely changed into Sherlock.
But
maybe he'll be like that the entire season, and then it won't be out of place.
Maybe. And it was also showing off a new Sky Remote sonic screwdriver as well, I guess.
Yeah.
That was kind of the reason why that was done.
Interesting little thing.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about that Sonic.
Neither do I. I'm sure we'll talk about it more when it's released.
When we get a toy for it.
When we get the toy.
Because we'll have it in... No, we won't. I don't think. Neither of us are planning on buying it.
I don't think so.
No. That's fine.
So, and then just one other little moment I've got as well is... when they're tied up and he kind of scoffs at the Goblin time traveller comment that Millie makes, which is great. I think
if they're not time travel, I think he's just saying that because he doesn't want to dampen time travel.
Yeah, but it's the same way as he says to Captain Jack about the Vortex Manipulator being like a space hopper. It's like it's that kind of thing.
Just to clarify, the Goblins are time travellers.
Oh yeah,
the Doctor
that's what
just doesn't
do.
Like them being time travellers.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. Okay.
And what kind of Russell's kind of said is, sure, they're more supernatural, but he throws in little things like them being, I think it's time riders or something like that, time surfers or and it's kind of like he's giving those little bits for like, okay, there is a sci-fi angle to it, but kind of go with it. These are a bit more supernatural.
And I think, what he said is this whole new first season is going to be more supernatural.
Well, Kate Lethbridge-Stewart says it in the trailer, doesn't she?
Yes, she does.
She says things are getting more supernatural.
Or something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah. So, I don't know how that's going to go.
No.
Because I like my sci-fi in Doctor Who. But we'll find out.
But nice to try something different.
Yeah.
What do we think of the Goblins?
I think they look great.
Okay.
You don't, based on that reaction.
No, I know. I was wondering where you were going. I thought I could see a book coming.
No, I think they look great. Seriously, I love the way they look. And in Unleashed, they have that little interview with the Goblin who plays Poe.
So
in the
surreal.
Teletubbies.
It's so trippy.
It's so weird, but also it's really sort of cute.
Yeah.
Like, she's not got her goblin teeth in.
It's so bizarre how cute they are when it's just a normal person talking without the goblin teeth.
Yeah, and she's sort of giggling and laughing, and she does a little skip at the end when she walks off camera. Like, it's really sort of cute.
I would have loved to have seen a bit more of that, because I think the mischievous angle...
They sort of come off as one-off baddies.
They're a bit of a horde, a bit of a nameless horde.
Exactly.
Whereas at the start, it felt a bit more Gremlins in that they were kind of messing around with the plugs. They were pulling
just one or two of them around. At any time.
And it kind of disappeared as soon as one of them hissed at Ruby. It was like, oh, so they're just a bit more generic.
And there's a bit when they steal Lulubelle. Awful
Such
name.
a great name.
When they steal Lulubelle, there's a bit on the baby monitor where you hear the Goblin say "Happy Birthday."
That's creepy, though, isn't it?
Really creepy. But I wrote in my notes, it sounds like Banacafalata.
Who knows? Maybe it's Jimmy.
I haven't checked
Jimmy
this.
V.
I have not checked who did the voice of the Gremlin of the Goblin.
Yeah, I wonder who did
the
voice.
But it sounds very much like Banacafalata when he says "Happy Birthday."
Banacafalata nicking babies.
Maybe they reused some audio from a Christmas special gone by.
Just something I want to say about babies as well.
Yeah,
we had the wee babbies in the Eagle.
We did.
Slur my words then. We had the wee babbies in the Giggle.
He says he's got a glass of water.
It's strong, hard vodka. We had the wee babbies. Stooky babbies. That's the one I was looking for.
It wasn't wee. It was
the Stooky babbies.
The Stooky babbies.
We've had babies being eaten by goblins.
Yep, Lulubelle and Ruby Sunday.
And we're going to get babies again in episode 1 in Space
3
Babies.
episodes in a row we're having some form of baby.
A lot of babbies.
And maybe in the Beatles, maybe they're all going to be turned into babies.
Maybe. If you've seen The Time Monster in 1972, you'll know that John Benton got turned into a baby.
Did he?
Midway through.
In 72?
1972.
When do the 456 invade? That's the 70s, isn't it? Or is that the 60s?
Well, when it gets to unit dating, it's a bit...
fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, that's a deep cut for anyone who's not watched Torchwood.
We should do a Torchwood episode.
I was thinking that.
We'll do a Torchwood episode.
We'll get to it.
Go on. What do we think of the Goblin song? I feel like we've been skirting around this.
I love it. I don't know what your opinion on it is.
I know that you love it because I came into work one day and you were playing it. You were playing it in work.
Because there was a bid to get it to Christmas #1, and I knew it would never get there, but I thought I'll do my bit.
But the video, the lyric video on the YouTube channel was viewed millions of times.
Yeah. I love it. I think it's such a bop, and we're going to be in the Royal Albert Hall later this year. You and me, trust me on this.
Are you manifesting?
I'm manifesting this because they've just announced Doctor Who proms are coming back. For those who don't know,
we're going to do a proms episode no matter what because Ben's got a very interesting story about his proms experience.
Because I went.
So save it.
I will. But we've both been to the proms. Yeah. You went to 2008. I went to 2013.
No, 2010. Me.
2010.
My cousin went to 2008.
Sorry.
But I went to
you went to 2010. I went to 2013, and we both had a great time. What was I going to say? We're going to be there. And we're going to be jamming out in the mosh pit.
They'll play the Goblin
song.
It's going to go. They're going to get Janice
crazy.
Goblin there.
They're going to get Goblin in.
It'd be amazing if they dressed her up as Janice Goblin and got her to sing.
They will. Well, the thing is that she doesn't play.
She doesn't. No, that's what I'm meaning.
She's not the Goblin.
But it would be so cool if they found a way to either lip sync it or.
I know.
How amazing would that be?
But I can't wait to hear the Goblin song live. But I love
your enthusiasm and your.
I'm so excited. Yeah. But I love the Goblin song. Seriously, I really do. I think it's great. I think it's a bop. Shooty says it's a bop in Unleashed.
I can't. I mean, when they played it on Radio 2 on the Zoe Ball show.
Is that when it was revealed?
I think it was the day that it had been revealed.
Right.
And Shooty is absolutely wetting himself. It is the best, most wholesome thing you've ever heard.
It's so good.
Go back and listen to it. It's fantastic.
And there's even bits with the I'll give that a go, babes bit. They start playing like the motif.
Yes,
so you hear the da 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 da, and it's just I heard that and I got really excited.
Oh, I'm so happy that Murray's back.
He's brilliant.
There was even a bit of Sagan-y style music in when Ruby disappears. Go back and watch that scene when the Doctor's sort of really worried and he's like, "Where's she gone?" It's sort of drone. It's got those drone kind of
like
music, I'm really not musically capable.
No.
But it feels like Murray has evolved.
Sure.
And yet there is that same spark, which is just, I need the soundtrack right now. Like I need it.
I was actually with the first three, with the David specials, with the three specials last year, I was quite disappointed with the music.
Were you?
There were bits, and there's a bit where I Am the Doctor plays, and there's a bit I think where All the Strange Creatures plays.
Did you not like the giggle music there? Da, da, da.
No, and that was fine. But like of course, we both grew up with the original Russell T Davies era, and then into the Matt Smith era.
Definitely.
And that was when he was big into his massive bombastic, like some would say, too loud soundtracks, and I love that. And then in this, it was very sort of diminished compared to what it used to be. Not so much in this episode, I think, but in the first three specials.
It was very diminished with a big Goblin song
in
the middle of it.
But in the three specials last year, I found that it was, compared to the old stuff, it was lower. And I was really excited for Murray to come back. And then we only got like bits and like small leitmotifs where we didn't get like a full song.
Okay.
And it was very modern drama. And that's the style of TV these days. So
I mean,
I shouldn't be disappointed.
I can't wait for what he's going to do in episode 2, you know. I mean, what the hell's going to be going on there? That's going to be an insane challenge.
Well, we know that they're not allowed to use any Beatles music.
No, which I can understand.
Which is apparently the plot point for the whole episode.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. I know that they'll do an absolutely great job, but there is a bit of me that's a bit disappointed. I was listening to With the Beatles on the way in to record this.
Yes, you sent me a text saying, look what I'm listening to. Yeah. It's very apt. And I thought it was going to be a screenshot of the Goblin song. And then I opened up WhatsApp and it was the Beatles.
Yeah, is that what you were listening to? You listened to the Goblin song on the way in?
I wasn't, but after I watched the episode last night, I just couldn't stop singing it to myself.
It's a very catchy
tune. I love it. I really love that song.
Do you know what I find more catchy? When the Doctor and Ruby join in.
That bit is good as well.
It's good to meet you, diddly deet you.
I find it, yes. Oh, I was going to open the episode with diddly deet you. I completely forgot.
Damn it.
I was going to say hello, guys, and welcome, and should I even say how to diddly deet you?
Back in time.
We'll redub it. What was I going to say? I just loved it. Yeah. I really love that song. Mm-hmm. The one bit where when Shooty and Millie join in, they put on these weird American accents.
Shooty
really does it, but Millie does it as well. Like
Shooty's probably used to doing Barbie, and
possibly he was on the set of Barbie
big dance sequences and stuff. Yeah.
But it was fine. I mean, British people do put on American accents when they sing for the most part, but it was really American, and I just thought that's a bit weird. But still, I love it, and I love the song.
Yeah, I mean, sure, there is an element of, like, when they start singing, it's a bit like, how has this worked? There could have been maybe just a line of dialogue to be like, why are the Goblins placated by this? Why are they, because they're all suddenly just sort of like happy, and the Goblin King is a little smile, which is enough. It's
I like
obviously
music.
they're like, whoa, yeah, go on then, jam. But it's a bit like never doing that again.
No.
But it's a bit like if we just had a reason for it, maybe play into the coincidence thing.
Sure.
Which I did like. I love how the Doctor says it's about the language of coincidence, and then the kind of the tech of rope that they have. It's like,
and it's another one of those supernatural things.
Yeah,
that's part of this. This episode is where this supernatural thing starts.
Exactly. So I think it gets away with it. And I do love the mechanics of the Goblins, like I say, and how it's kind of the fairy tale, but the Doctor almost translates it into how we would understand it for our sake, especially the rope thing, and I loved his line of like, I am trying to understand the vocabulary of rope, and it's like it's so clever. Of course they wouldn't have wires and things like that.
And screws even.
And screws,
the screwdriver needs screws. That's what he says.
How happy, Ben, I can't tell you how happy I was when he says screwdrivers need screws. Yes, it does. Thank God that we're not doing this whole thing of like, there you go, I'll just use the sonic to get us out. No.
Although there is a bit, and I really don't care. I think this is really petty of me to think.
Is it when he uses
No, there's a bit where he tries to use the sonic and he says, there's no screws. I'll just untie all these ropes. But there's a scene in Age of Steel where they cut a rope ladder with the sonic.
But he's burning it.
Yeah, but you can do that. I don't know. Like, he's untangling all these ropes. He could just sonic them.
Oh well.
Sorry, it's Doctor Who. Nothing's consistent.
I like that is sort of laid out though. I like that they've gone early on. This is like an early days kind of episode for a lot of people, and it's kind of saying, Just to be clear, this can't do anything. Like, this isn't a magic wand.
Get out of jail free card.
Yeah,
it's not that.
It's not
even though it was invented to be that.
Well,
I think it was.
Well,
no, that's what the psychic paper was invented for.
Yes,
that's what the psychic paper. And he uses that in this episode.
He does use that in this episode.
I think Jodie does use it at some point, but this is the first time in a while we've seen it.
She definitely does. But they do use it here, and I think they cut a line of dialogue in the Goblin ship when the Doctor talks about it, or there's a line somewhere where they talk about it. But I'm sure that will be.
He's Health and Safety Gin and Tonic Division.
That's what he
says in the club. How does he? Sorry, I'm going to go back in time a bit. How does he jump from the ground floor to upstairs?
He's a time traveller.
Has he? Well,
he's the Doctor.
So has he? He's at a point where he catches...
Doctor, just accept it.
Exactly.
That's what you'd have said.
When he catches that gin and tonic glass, is he still also currently downstairs dancing?
I'd like to think so.
Yeah. Also,
another.
I was going to ask this before, and I didn't get the chance. At the start of the episode, before I'll give that a go, babes. Why is the Doctor stalking Ruby? Is that coincidence?
Because he's that is a good question.
Because I was watching it, I thought, why is he doing that?
Why is he stalking this 18-year-old girl?
Yeah. This is very Christopher Eccleston of you.
It's obviously that he's noticed this coincidence. How he's done that, how he's noticed this coincidence is another matter. But
then I think when he meets her on the roof, he says, "Oh, it's coincidence that we both happen to be here and that we've met before." I think.
I think he just says about her name.
I think he says it a couple times
because he's aware of the Goblins, because he's like, that's the Goblin ship,
Yeah.
And all this sort of stuff. So I guess we just need to be. We're under the impression, a bit like Eccleston in Rose. He's just there because he just happens to be sorting out the nesting stuff.
I thought possibly, he's gone back in time to watch Ruby fail with the unplugging of the keyboard and the falling of the star.
Well, who knows? Where it might be from the Doctor from a different point in time.
It could be a Series 5 thing.
That's something that I'm going to mention actually as we get to the end.
Cool.
I mean, we are kind of wrapping up now. Just little things on the topic of the Goblins. How they we could have had another scene of them in the flat that was cut, obviously for cost reasons. They got all this Disney Plus money and they couldn't afford. There was going to be a scene of the Goblin King invading the flat, which logistically in my head I can't work out how they would have done that.
They would have had
loved to have
a whole different puppet. The puppet. Sorry, I was going to say this as well. The puppet budget is insane.
It's so good, isn't it?
Every episode that we had last year, all 4 episodes we had last year, had a puppet of some kind.
Yeah, we had the Meep, we had Jimbo. We had the Stooky Babbies.
The Stooky Babbies.
And Stooky.
And Stooky Bill.
Sue.
And all of the marionette stuff with the old companions.
Very true.
It was a massive puppet. Exactly.
Yeah.
It was a massive
Neil
puppet
Patrick Harris
budget.
just walked in the studio.
Yeah, and bye. See you later.
Oh, it's gone now.
Yeah, he's gone to make a weird cake. Look that up. I'm not going to explain it. Neil Patrick Harris in a cake.
Do not look that up.
What was I going to say?
Yeah, a lot of puppets.
It's just a massive puppet,
a lot of puppets.
And I love that.
I love the practical elements.
Like I said before, I'm a massive Star Trek fan, and all the Star Trek from before 2002 used puppets or model shots of ships and things, and they're carrying that through to this.
You'll love old Doctor Who then.
Well, I don't know if they had the same sort of models. I think they used...
There's models.
Was it washing up liquid bottles they used?
Ben, don't diss it when you've not seen it.
Sorry.
Yes, it was.
Yes, it was. But yeah, no, I love all the puppetry, and they've built physical sets and things. It's not all just CG. I mean, they've built a rooftop and they record it, a bit of that on a green screen. They built
a Goblin ship to scale.
But they build a Goblin ship, and they build a miniature church because they impale the Goblin King at the end.
Did they really build a miniature church?
I assume they must do.
They probably did.
Yeah. Also, the Doctor just murders the Goblin King.
Love it.
Which is,
very
for someone who says he's a pacifist...
No second chances.
He's that sort of a man.
Do you have the money box that used to say that?
No.
I'd love that. I had a money box, TARDIS money box, which only had quotes from the Christmas Invasion in it.
That's because it was all they had at the time, I assume.
And New Earth as well. Anyway, sorry, carry on.
Yeah. He just absolutely murders the Goblin King, and possibly the goblins along with him, because the ship then just sort of disappears.
Fantastical.
Exactly.
I think for an episode like this, I'm willing to allow some of the threat stuff, the monster stuff to be more set dressing than. It's a quick way to deal with it, just like how in Rose the nesting consciousness just gets a vial of blue liquid chucked on it, and there you go. But they're very much on the fringes. a bit like the Goblins. They're on the fringes of time. So yeah, we kill the Goblin, we stab him through the chest, we do a hot fuzz on him, right through the spine. Oh god, that's an awful scene. He's dead. The Doctor comes back.
He has a bit of a cry. Because he's still crying.
He still sees that. Yeah, he's a very emotional Doctor. I'm interested to see where that goes.
That's completely fine.
I like a human Doctor. That's why I like Tennant. That's why I like Davison. I like that side of things. So he goes back. Ruby's there, sort of very cheerful, upbeat, and then he's like, "Oh, I've got something else to do," and then he goes and saves Davina.
Yes,
could have. If you're going to cut something, cut that.
True.
Just
leave it. Davina's dead in this universe.
I'd rather have a few more lines.
She was impaled by a Christmas star.
It's fun. How camp is it that Davina McCall gets killed by a Christmas tree? I just enjoy it.
Killed by a Christmas tree.
Exactly. We're throwing
my
back
voice doesn't go that high.
No. I don't think
Camille
Kadori was in the
Christmas
studio.
trees have we had in Doctor Who at this point?
Too many.
Yeah. Exploding baubles,
never a bad thing.
Spinning trees, one that just falls over.
One that just falls and kills you. So yeah, we have that, and then the Doctor returns, right? And you think he's going to go back into the flat. A lot of time I feel is wasted for seeing Shooty run back.
Stairs.
Yeah, just run back. Well, if you like I say, if you're going to cut stuff for time, cut that. We don't need to see all that.
Yeah, because Shooty goes out and then he goes in again, and then Ruby's still not there. He goes out. And then he saves the day, and he comes back in again, and then he goes out again.
So much in
he does.
But he comes back, and then he stops himself, and Mrs. Flood's like, "You're right, what you?" And he sort of says, "Oh, maybe I'm the bad luck." And then he goes, "You know what? I'll see you later." And he walks back to the TARDIS, and then we cut back to Ruby.
And then she realises
it's
time traveller and this, that, and the other.
Comes back down, but the TARDIS is still there.
So what's the Doctor has gotten changed at this
point.
Well,
that's the thing, right?
He's changed his shirt.
It probably is as simple as that. But it just the fact that we've had this moment where he says, maybe this isn't the right thing to do. Maybe I should go. And he's like, see you later. Has the Doctor gone somewhere in that gap?
He could have done.
I don't. To be honest,
I don't think he has.
I'm saying that, and I think I'm just.
You're just hoping that one day in 10 years' time you'll have a Big Finish Shooty gap where.
But they did that with Matt Smith. Like there was that bit with Amelia Pond, when she was sat there waiting in the garden. There was that moment, and it felt like a dream sequence when she looks up, and you hear the TARDIS materialising, and then it cuts to Amy in bed, and it's like, oh, she was obviously having a dream. But then in Angels Take Manhattan, we cut back to that, and it turns out the Doctor did go back and see her as a child and say, you're going to marry a plastic man and you're going to do this. Same with Capaldi as well in Deep Breath. He goes away, buggers off for a bit, and then comes back.
And there's, I think, is it a Big Finish play or a book? I think there's a book story set, in Rose.
Yes.
When he disappears.
Exactly.
And then he comes back. Yeah. And there's a whole story. I think there's probably 50 stories
Ben,
set in that gap.
There's so many.
But I remember there was a book released for the 50th anniversary, and there was a story for each Doctor.
Yes, that was set.
And the 9th Doctor's story was set in that gap. I couldn't tell
Hickson wrote the Young Bond books.
I did get that signed by 2 of the authors.
Neil Gaiman?
Not Neil Gaiman.
Oh, I don't want to know about it then.
There was this book festival that I went to as a kid, and they did this event where 3 of the authors from that book, who happened to just be at this literature festival, had a panel together. One of them ended up calling in sick. I can't remember which one.
Oh, right. I was going to say, there's 3 people there.
I only got 2 signatures that day. But they were meant to be all 3 of them there, and then one of them was ill that day.
Well.
So I got 2 of those pages signed.
There we go.
And then I remember saying, one day I'm going to have all of these signed, and I haven't done anything since.
So maybe there'll be dozens of stories written in this similar fashion about that little gap.
Yes.
Who knows? I don't know whether I'm just chucking that out there as a little theory. A lot of my theories tend to be wrong, though.
Yeah. You don't, because the thing is, you don't actually see the TARDIS dematerialise.
You don't,
and you don't hear it.
But it's so weird to draw attention to the fact that he's like, I may be on the bad luck. See you later.
Yeah.
And yet he's still there.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It is strange.
Who knows? Maybe I'm predicting.
You just really want a Big Finish story.
Come on, Big Finish. I'll write something for you. All right.
They don't need help writing things. They're releasing like 50 things a month at this point.
Yeah. Anyway,
we love Big Finish, and if you want to give us anything for free,
Big Finish, they love stories.
They do.
Oh no, sorry, it's for the love of stories now.
Is it?
Yeah,
they changed it.
They've changed it. It used to be subscribers get more at bigfinish.com.
Is that your?
That sounded like a Paul McGann. I was meant to be Nick Briggs, but it wasn't. Yeah. Well, there we go. I think that. I mean, is there anything else
That's a
you
lot.
can think of?
I have written more notes, but I don't think.
I'm sure we've
nothing's
forgotten
crucial.
to talk about a lot of other things, but it feels like we have gone into that in a lot of detail. What do you think overall? Just to finish off as a start to the new era in terms of Ruby Road, is it a good jumping on point?
Yeah. I think so. I think it is. I think we'll find out next week whether
true.
That's a better jumping on point. But I think this one is a good jumping on point nonetheless. And on Disney Plus, if what the rumours say is true, this will be episode 1.
Well, they're going to get a 3-episode premiere, technically. If people haven't seen this special.
And we're going to be staying up till 2 a.m. to watch the first 2 episodes.
Well, that's something I was going to say about now. I mean, from this going out,
yes,
excitingly,
we
only
are
a week to
away.
go.
Yeah, I just hope it's good.
I hope it's good.
That's my main hope. I hope it's good because I've been disappointed a lot in the last couple of years.
Yeah,
and I just hope this is fun.
I'm just excited to see what this new approach and I'm thrilled.
I want to see that Disney money.
Because
this I know I've said it already, but this episode looked visually stunning, and I just hope it all looks visually stunning.
Me too.
Me too. Because
I'm sure it will.
It just looked great. The sets, the models, the camera, the composition, the 4K-ness of it all looks so good.
Yeah,
and I hope it sticks.
I really think it's going to be gorgeous. Can't wait for the 2-episode premiere. Are you going to be watching at midnight on?
I think I will.
Yeah, you're going to watch both.
I want to, but then I realised last night when I was watching Unleashed. Am I going to watch the episode?
Yeah.
And then watch Unleashed?
I thought this as
and
well.
And then watch the second episode, and then because you get
and if
that
there's
teaser.
a commentary as well.
Yeah.
And the YouTube behind the scenes, there's so much content that they put out.
And am I going to? Because if I do watch all of that, I'm not going to be finished till 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning.
Exactly. You'll have
so
I think that's quite a good idea. Maybe watching episode 1, enjoying that, and then coming back for the Devil's Chord. Maybe before Eurovision. Is Eurovision?
Yeah.
You into Eurovision?
No. I think I'll be watching Doctor Who instead of Eurovision.
No. I love Eurovision. I might want to watch them again.
That's great for you.
Good.
I'll be watching Doctor Who. And you can be watching Eurovision.
Oh, we can watch both. You can lead into Eurovision with Doctor Who. Well, each to their own.
Each to their own.
I will be watching on midnight for that first one. Not so sure about the rest. I'll just watch them whenever.
Yeah, that's the perfect.
I agree with what Russell says in this Doctor Who magazine article about we're giving this to you and it's yours now. You choose.
Yeah. Sure. I mean, the thing is that I'm chronically online.
That's the only thing. I understand there are people like that,
which is fine. And I've dealt with it for years with Marvel programs and Star Trek recently, and other like big budget things. Things get spoiled, and you just have to stay off the internet for a couple of days.
Things get spoiled without them coming out.
Exactly. And like
the Giggle and Church on Ruby Road was spoiled months before. I mean, I luckily managed to avoid it.
Yeah, I read the spoilers and I was like, oh, cool.
There we go.
And this Church on Ruby Road got spoiled. The Davina McCall thing.
Yeah.
There's a bit in I was going to say confidential, in Unleashed. I know that you've already said we're wrapping up and we're still chatting. And,
don't worry. This is a big bump, but we're opening with a bang.
Exactly. We're only talking about one episode this week, so we can go on a bit longer.
For the love of God, we have to make sure we cut down for Space Babies and Devil's Club. We're doing a double bill review next time.
What was I going to say? There's a bit where they say in Unleashed where they're trying to keep Davina McCall a massive secret, and they put her under a tarp and they get her out the back door, and
it looks like they did it,
and then they did it and they survived, and then it leaked on Reddit months before, and then they announced it on Twitter like a couple of weeks before ananyway.
Yeah.
So they did just sort of throw it away in the end, but they made all that effort to keep it secret.
Power to them for trying. So let's wrap this up. Church on Ruby Road, a really lovely start. I will say I really enjoyed rewatching it, more so than I did.
Yeah, this was the first time I watched it since Christmas.
Yes, the same here, yeah.
What are you going to give this out of 10 then? Or just yes, no, recommend, not recommend?
You want to do ratings?
Yeah, go on, let's do it. We don't have to carry this up, but let's do it for now.
Why not? 7 out of 10.
7 out of 10, that's
Is that a bit
enough.
harsh?
No, I don't think so.
No.
Because I think that's sort of what I gave Star Beast and the Giggle as well. I think I remember saying 7 out of 10.
I'd probably give the Star Beast a 7 as well, to be honest.
So yeah, I would say 7's fair.
I'm very much looking forward to what's next.
So am I.
And,
really, very much so, yeah.
We've not got long to wait now.
Yeah.
I can't believe it. It's like right around the corner.
It is.
Yeah.
It's 2 weeks. Well, 1 week for the listeners, but 2 weeks. Oh, I can't wait.
2 weeks. So you guys, it'll be 1 week for you guys. Next Monday,
A week
all
today,
being well.
hopefully. Yeah.
We will be back. We'll be reviewing Space Babies and The Devil's Chord. We'll be doing a bumper review.
Yeah. So, we're going to watch it and then record probably less than 24 hours after we've watched it. Or just over. So we might not have as many notes next time round.
No, but I think
because it's going to be a first viewing.
Yeah, it's going to be fresh chats.
Yeah.
We'll probably be. Yeah.
We'll try not to talk to each other between broadcast and
I'm turning
the
off
podcast.
I'm not going on Twitter.
That's fine.
I'm not going to talk to you.
That's fine.
So we will see you then.
We will,
faithful listeners. Hey, got it right that time. We will see you. No, we won't. We'll hear.
You'll hear us.
Balls it up again. You will hear us next week.
We'll call you.
We'll call you.
Don't call us. We'll call you.
We'll give you 3 rings.
We will ring 4 times.
Very good. We will. We'll be back in a week's time.
Yeah, I don't know how many times we have to say
Space Babies and The Devil's Chord.
Wherever you get your podcasts, assuming that is Miles' YouTube channel or hopefully Spotify if we figure that out.
Oh, this will be on Spotify.
Oh, yeah.
This will be on Spotify. This will be all over the place, Ben.
And if you want to reach us in any form, of course, we have social media.
Yes.
We have at Knowing Who on Twitter or X. My Twitter is Ben P. Davidson. Your Twitter is
at Tailored Vision.
Yeah,
that's Taylor D Vision.
Yes, you have to explain it every single time.
I always do. Yeah.
It's also in the bio of the podcast Twitter.
Yeah.
That's at Knowing Who. Knowing Who podcast. That's all I have to say.
That's all you have to say.
I think that's it.
We'll see you in a week, guys. Have fun. Get excited because the new era is coming.
It is.
We'll give that a go, babes.
I'm excited. Give that a go, babes.
Bye.
See you guys.
You've been listening to Knowing Who, another Doctor Who podcast with me, Miles Taylor.
And me, Ben Davidson. Thank you to Sonny King for producing our theme tune.
And thank you to you for listening. You can find us on Spotify plus YouTube on the Tailored Vision YouTube channel.
You can also follow us on Twitter at Knowing Who.
Catch you next time for more Knowing Who.